Yeti for ni yahwefo ye mo bibia kwaba ebiem so ba daily update TV so ye bibia ene ne di kan so na obepiem ha daily update TV so 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 be subscribe na obo notification bell no so oye ni samaya onsa ebeka e videos no bi oborem so a obaba beto videos no oborem na oso wahwe bi na wahye na afoforo so enya bi ahwe na yeti for ye ni nkomo kakra ye nya nim se ye Saturday edi animu bay MPP koto omo flag bearership who lead at the MPP no omo koto aba Saturday coming to next say if we need daily update now so abeka de be si bia na report ama yeti phone so ti enenso no abe PS so be subscribe na notification be ye ni nkomo Solomon cancer and ekasim say I will say office of special prosecutor or invite and as urgently on free Samira Bomia, the second lady, because of some comment be our make us say people have mass a lot. Nah, I be told just say Bomia kujina Bomia second lady kujina simpi suka say young people for it be more mean, which means they have looted a lot of money and Solomon usuna ye kana sem no because cross or wine Solomon musu ye o Solomon usu ye na oye MPP ni ba semenga ze ojon ala oye movement for change and ekasa ni mfonyi ni betwagu wa bra ye kuti ene no and okase e wo se inviting a special prosecutor or invite Samira because Samira akokanse bi nsembe no okai yemu room ni nkuti tentem so mpacho comment another share comment daily update TV so ya mission you Kesi stay tuned.
What record is?
It's not hell bent to speak against them. It's not hell bent. It's not as if he has to. He's obliged to.
He has been picked not to.
So the thing is that they make the work of communicators for the vice president very, very difficult. Selling the vice president is like selling pork in Muslim communities. Who is going to buy? It's so difficult. And that I, as someone that support Mr. Lanchomante, I am so happy. Look, in the last few days, the whole thing has turned into insults. And who is macho? I heard Opariansa say that he is going to go to Ascent Central as the polling agent, and he's going to show Kennedy that he is stronger than him. I have heard the wife of the vice president also say that some people are satisfied. They have, amassed a lot. Now I keep saying that if we were a serious country, the Office of Special Prosecutor should be inviting the second lady. Is it a case that people have stolen our money? Because for you to amass a lot means a lot. She should go and explain who are those who have gotten a lot of money from the state and how did those people get it? Because if they got it legitimately, I'm not sure she would go on a campaign platform and use it as a campaign tool. But because she believes that people have ill-gotten monies, she made references to it. And so Kennedy also throws a salvo back. That depending on what happens on the 4th of November, it will show his direction in politics, whether you continue to be in the MPP or leave the MPP. But for me, that is not my interest. My interest is that to the voters, you must analyze every candidate. You see, when hardship is coming, hardship does not know color. You know, the last 2 days, there have been some load shedding around the country.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure the electricity company of Ghana is able to identify all households and say, you belong to the NDC, so you must be in Dumso. You belong to the MPP, so you must be in Light. It affects everyone. That is why in voting, you only consider one factor, competence. Who amongst the candidates has the competence? And that competence, you can easily identify it from their vision. And that vision must not be with them alone. The vision must be espoused in red and black to the entire Ghanaian. He was saying that the kind of things they have been telling delegates, they are not going to tell the Ghanaian people. What is he talking about? The New Patriotic Party is supposed to be a public institution. The delegates that he's preaching to are Ghanaians. If you have a very good message and you are telling them and you are telling them that entire country, is it not going to make your work even beyond 4th November very easy? Because they have none. He's only lying to the good people of this country. And this is what we have been served over the years.
Right.
Over the years.
Right.
So my brother must come again.
Right. Thank you very much, Solomon Owusu. I mean, but before I come to Masaudu, would there ever be
2:35 p.m. said he had resigned from the New Patriotic contest as an independent candidate. As we speak, Mr. Alanchomante is a candidate. No, he's not even like because he has not fired his, but he's a potential candidate. He is going back to the NPP as what? As a flag bearer of the party, or what? You see, they must not belittle the intelligence of Mr. Alanchomante. It is a way of trying to, as it were, minimize the expectation of his following, because now he has huge following. And so they will just want to tell them that, look, even the man that you are following, in not too distant the future, he will return back to the NPP. So why would you worry yourself to go and follow? To the movement of change or for change members, there is no way Mr. Alanchomante is going to return to the NPP. He is going to be on the ballot come 2024. And in 2024, we are going to have John Mahama, Mahmoud Bawumia, talking about the New Patriotic Party as it is currently, or some New Patriotic Party in the past. And so I was struggling to get to where he was coming from. Let me say that it is on record why Mr. Alanchomante dropped out of the race. Issues to do with intimidation, brutalities here and there. And I can assure you that come 4th November, there will be more brutalities, there will be more chaos that will characterize the elections because nothing concrete has been done. The establishment insists because, you see, when they want to rig an election, they have these newspapers or researchers who throw out the numbers. And for those that are listening, it's part of the strategy. You throw out the number because that is the number they are going to work towards. So that when it happens, then you have the researchers or these posters come and say, but we told you that we were going to get 80%. So I'll be very surprised if the vice president gets anything less than 80% from where I sit, because everything points to a flawed process, and that process, the party will suffer for it. But I'm, as a movement for change member, I'm very happy that they are going to settle on Dr. Bawumia. In all sincerity, I'm very, very, very happy, because you see, you can manipulate the internal process, but the issue still remains whether or not you'll be able to manipulate during the general elections. And when you bring us or present to us a weak candidate, why wouldn't I be happy? Because you will be coming up against Alanchomante, who is so formidable, and the movement is working towards achieving a success. Again, when you listen to Pendream, he says Dr. Bawumia has been the best vice president the country has ever had. And I was surprised he said that, because if for nothing at all, the president of the land himself has told us that he can no longer function, and that he admits that we have a lot of challenges in the country now. And so he is handing over all the problems to the one that will take over. Here is a case that he's going to hand over to the vice president, who has been part of the system, who has been part of his administration. So if the president himself acknowledges that he is no longer unable to deal with the myriad of problems the country faces, and is going to hand over, the rational thing is to hand over to someone who was not an integral part of your administration, but to hand it over to the vice president, and for a spokesperson of the party to come and sit here and say that he is the best vice president that the country has ever produced, then it's a cause of concern. Let's look at some of the indices to check whether indeed the vice president, as compared compared to any other vice president has really outperformed them. As we speak, inflation hovers around 38.1%. I don't remember the last time, I think in the 90s that we were hovering around that figure. Now we have 38.1% as our inflation rate. And you are telling me that the current vice president has done so well or better than Aliyu Mahama? It cannot be. The exchange rate regime we are operating today, just compare the cedi to the dollar. It cannot be said same of Aliyu Mahama's era. I'm only comparing vice presidents. Even if you stretch the argument to Anxiēty, and remember it was the same vice president that posed about 170 questions to the former vice, the late Anxiēty. While we speak, as I was coming, get to the Abilipe traffic light, go and see the number of people over there trying to get visa to Canada.
Yeah.
If the vice president hasn't seen it, he better go there and see. If Pendream has not seen it, it is for him to go and see it and inform the vice president. And I'm not too sure Ghanaians will be so much happy with him this morning for him to say that things are going on well and the vice president has performed. In any case, his own campaigning around the country, I was hoping to hear a single policy or vision that would be espoused by those that are following the vice president. And he could not say anything. Of course, leaders make the work of followers very easy. That is why Mr. Alanchemante, right from day one, gave us a great transformational plan. So I have a script that I speak to. And I believe in that vision. But at the moment I pick the GTP, I know I'm going to speak to the issue of agricultural revolution. I'm going to speak to it. I'm surprised that pronouncement could be made this morning here by Pendream. I don't know where it's coming from. Digitalization can never be in place when there's no business. Then what is your IT going to revolve around? In fact, it's a byproduct of industrialization. Look, and even the proponent of those that are pushing for digitalization are taking a second look at it. Now, when you go to all those that are into AI, the question is how many jobs are going to be lost? And so they are now beginning to have a second look at it. You understand? You go to the passport office, you go to the banking sector, the number of people that have been relieved of their positions or jobs because of the digital infrastructure, you need to tread cautiously. In any case, there has not been a proper policy to even show us what this whole digitalization is about. The vice president has not been able to do. What I've rather heard the vice president say is that we should vote for him because he's a Muslim. And I don't know how that plays into our politics. Then Hassan Ayaraga is also a Muslim. We should go and vote for him. Now, what the vice president has been telling the people of this country is that we should vote for him because he's a northerner. Then why did he come to campaign against former President John Mahama? What I've heard him say is that we should vote for him because it is possible. Now, Ghanaians are beginning to understand what the "it is possible" means. Not knowing they were going to spill the Akosombo Dam to destroy homes. It is possible. You see why I have been demanding that the man is pushed to the wall to define what the "it is possible" is. The man has no idea as to how to lead this country. Finito. But you see, people have been shaped in lie. And I want to challenge Pendream on this program that through and through, within himself, he's going to do self-introspection. Is he going to tell me that in the new patriotic party, it's a charade, it's a flawed process, it's going to be rigged on Saturday? But I'm so sad. Then he says everything has been so transparent. You remember when 10 people were contesting or aspiring to lead the party? 9 out of the 10 petitioned the party.
Yeah.
That on the question of what do you call it? Decentralization. You should rather centralize the process so that the super delegates will be free and fair and the outcome will be accepted by all. The party decided to go with the vice president. You know why? Because they knew they were going to rig. And they couldn't have done that in a centralized location. So what is he talking about? It's the same thing that is going to happen. Now ministers have been whipped in line. Immediately after the superdelegates election, even decisions that have been taken that members of parliament, ministers were not going to be allowed to make, polling agents and stuff, they quickly rescinded those decisions and said they could do that. Now it is a taboo in the New Patriotic Party, the party that he belongs. Fortunately, I have flown, the butterfly is gone, that he speaks against the vice president. If he does so this morning, I'm telling you, his parliamentary ambition will be curtailed. He can't say it.
Maybe there are no reasons that the vice president does not give him any reasons to speak against him.
Hasa Yerega, Alan Tremantin, these are the people that are going to be on the ballot. And you will see where the voting direction will go.
Right, thank you very much, Solomon Owusu. Before I come to you, Masaudu, though, I'll do a few of your messages. You've sent a lot of them via WhatsApp and Facebook.
Person wants. You go through the disciplinary committee. You file your motion. Our leaders in the party, the New Patriotic Party, has re-emphasized that there is no favored candidate. Polls were opened. People filed. People were vetted. All 10 of them stood for the election. For the first time in the history of the New Patriotic Party, we had a tie, which had to be decided upon. Through that process of decision, the Constitution says you take first 5, which is stemming from the 17 numbered that came after President John Agyekum Kufuor's election and timing of presidency. And so we had a super delegates conference on the 26th of August, 2023, to reduce the number to 5, the best 5, or the 5 amongst which the people want. We had a first 4, and then there was a tie, a 5th and a 5th. One receded, which was Boakye Jaku, to allow Adainimo to come. There has been fair play, and I think that the continual conversation of the fact that Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a system candidate is flawed from the very beginning. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has earned his right in the New Patriotic Party as a member of the New Patriotic Party. He's earned his right as the sitting vice president of the Republic of Ghana. He served diligently the people of the New Patriotic Party, the people of this country. He's aided in establishing the vision of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo from 2017 till date and to the end of the 7th of January 2025, when President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo would have given the New Patriotic Party another successive win of an election, which we call breaking the 8. And so it is not in doubt that the delegates, the overwhelming number of delegates across the length and breadth of this country, where the Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has gone to engage, shared his vision. He has had one of the most prominent campaigns ever in the history of this country. He's engaged delegates with his vision, what he feels he can do with the New Patriotic Party for the grassroots. Because the viewing public are a shared number of people a shared number of Ghanaian people. Some of the in-house family conversations the vice president had with delegates, we will not share. But clearly the delegates know who is the right person to lead the New Patriotic Party into the 7th December 2024 general election, who will put the end to John Dramani Mahamad's career in terms of politics and running for presidency in this country. We know that John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, has served this country very well. The Ghanaian people have asked that he goes on retirement from the 7th of December 2016 general election. He lost an overwhelming number of votes. He didn't listen. He came back in the 2020 general election. The Ghanaian people rejected him. So we know that the chances of the New Patriotic Party with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, should the delegates decide to vote him, and we know that the delegates would reward him for his hard work. He's been the most prominent industrious vice president from the Fourth Republic to date. And I can name all the vice presidents, and you can make a comparison of who has done the most. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has done the most from 1992 till date. The most. When we talk about digitalization, I hear that people state that the industrialization is the next big thing. No. The 4th industrial revolution is digitalization. Now industrialization has become a subset of digitalization. And I've thought to argue that anyone who makes such comments is reading from an old history manuscript. An old history manuscript. Because the 4th industrial revolution is digitalization. Research has shown that. Academia has proven that. AI is even a stronger testament of what digitalization can do to the transformation of a global economy all around the world, from the US of A to the Europes to the Asia Tigers to Middle East. Everyone is talking about a digital economy. So the globe is changing and is going fast forward. We believe that on Saturday, the good delegates of the New Patriotic Party, overwhelming number of them, who represent the tradition of the New Patriotic Party, from the 4th of August 19...
Etiefo ni ahwefo yeda masese mo kan ho ma yekutie ene no na jese Solomon owusu ana yete no Solomon owusu na jese nsema okano no na jese on day he's no more an MPP again, though officially on resign, but he's for a year movement for change. Solomon owusu or a very strong a year Alan a year member pa or Kasaman or any communicator Kesi. Tim sure say obe subscribe ama daily update TV na wabo a notification bell so tembia no onsa beka a video soon be ubo ma onsa beka ya sure say bad news papa they say daily update we give you the best until 4th November there obi amfa na nim che daily update na share na for so enya vision na like ya say the better phone bia pin kra na bibia bia no daily update na report to Anxiēty for because we say we give you the best. Stay tuned, stay connected. Nyamisha no nyokese.